There's so much new camera equipment coming out, but one thing I will not be upgrading in 2024 is this right here. What's up? Nick Hilton here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And in here, I have got the Godox AD200 Pro. I have been using the Godox AD200 Pro since 2018. Before this, I had some Einstein lights, and those were my first lights that I'd ever really used before. But obviously, bringing Einsteins that need big old battery packs to a wedding is not really ideal. I stumbled into a couple videos of people who recommended the AD200 Pro, and I bought myself 2 of them. Now, I do own 3 of them, and it's not because I use 3 at one time. I'm gonna be straight up honest and tell you that one of these, particularly this one in my hand, kind of stopped working. Now, I don't know if it's the battery connection or what, but this one randomly, the screen goes blank, it doesn't fire, and you have to kind of like tap it or hit the battery to make the flash come back on. And I ended up buying another one to replace this one just because I did not want to be dealing with that during a wedding. But it's 5 years old, so I can't complain. Another thing that I do not like about this flash, for some reason, one of them, the modeling light, never turns off. I'll turn it off, and I'll turn it off on my trigger, and then every time that it fires, the modeling light now stays on. It's not really a problem, it's more just annoying. When I turn it off, I want it to be off. With all that said, let's jump into why the Godox AD200 Pro is just so good. The first positive I want to say about this flash is the build quality. I have had stands fall over with these on it. One of them even has a big old like crack. It's split right here and it still works perfect. So build quality gets an A. And I love the form factor. I love that this is the same, Fresnel head that would be on like a speed light, because then I can run my MagMod modifiers on it. If you're unfamiliar with MagMod, definitely look that up. It's pretty much what got me into Flash and allowed me to like level up so fast was MagMod modifiers. And you can put this bare bulb head on to make the flash, I believe it'll be a little bit brighter. But again, I like the Fresnel head because I use MagMod modifiers. I don't really ever care to run a bare bulb. So these have never actually gone on my AD200 Pros, but I will show you where these come in handy in a little bit. Now, the other thing I really like about the AD200 Pro is how simple the interface is. Oh, see, this is the one that does weird shit. See, I'm just being honest. Some things get weird. Anyways, we can see we've got our mode that switches between TTL, manual, group, channel. So go through the different channels for triggers, and you can group it A, B, C, D. Sometimes I'll have one on group A, one on group B. Sometimes they're both on group B. Channel, I pretty much never change because I'm usually the only person in the room with this. And then you can, test fire right here. And then you have the option to do high-speed sync. Now, besides switching the group and the channel, I don't really use most of the buttons that are actually on here because once it's way up on a stand, I just control the power with my trigger. Now, speaking of triggers, on a wedding day, I will switch between using the Godox X2 trigger and the Godox V862. These can both act as triggers for the AD200 Pro. A lot of times I'll keep the V860 on camera as the trigger because I can very, very easily switch to using an on-camera flash. Say if my subject walks out of, the light zone for these flashes, or I have to run outside really quick to grab a couple group photos, I can just really easily turn channel A back on, turn off channel B, drop it down, direct flash, bada boom, bada bing. All right, now the third thing I really like about the AD200 Pro is the battery life. This battery life is killer. I have shot 2 weddings back to back, 2 10-hour days back to back, and 1 battery. I've never actually plugged in one of these batteries to charge and had it be less than like 35%. So the battery life is really good. The recycle time on this is also really good. I'll pretty easily shoot off around 2,000 dance floor photos in, a couple hour long reception. And this flash fires just about every time. It's very, very rare that at like 1/64th power that this thing will misfire at all. Now, obviously, if you get into 1/16th power, 1/8th, fire off enough shots, it's gonna get hot. It will. But for what most people need and what I need at a wedding during the reception, because of the power of this, I can usually stay at 1/32nd to 1/64th power, and I can just fire off all reception long. Which brings me to the other thing I like, which is the power. Like I said, it's got enough power that most receptions, because they're dimly lit, you can really easily overpower the reception lighting with this at like 1/64th power, 1/32nd power. Now, how about, being outside during the day and wanting to overpower the sun? If you get one of these flashes bare bulbed very, very close to your subject, you can probably overpower the sun, or at least, kind of match exposure levels. But this accessory, the Godox AD200, is really, really cool. You can see I've got 2 of these bulbs in there right now, and I can attach 2 AD200 Pros to the back of this AD200, and this allows me to fire off double the power. So if I'm outside during the day, I can use double the power just by teaming up 2 AD200s together. And then this is a Bowens mount, which is really cool. So I can throw on this reflector, get a little bit more light, or I can use a beauty dish, a softbox, anything like that. And so that's really the only reason I even keep these bare bulbs, is for this AD200. And like I said, that's just when you need some extra power. But for most things, sunset shots, blue hour, any kind of nighttime shots, one of these is generally plenty. Like, I pretty very rarely even use this at full power. All right, let's bring it to the best quality of this flash right here, is the price. This thing is under $400. And that's why, like, I didn't even mind when one of them, this one, took a crap, because I bought 2 of them. I spent less than $800 on 2 of these flashes, and they lasted for 5 years. I spent another, $350 on another one. So I'm about $1,000 in, a little over $1,000 for probably, 50, 60, probably 60 weddings worth. I would rate these flashes at about 50 or 60 weddings. This is the Godox AD200 Pro. I really recommend it. I think it's a great flash, especially for those of you who are just getting into it, or if you're a wedding photographer like me, looking to add off-camera flash into your work. AD200 Pro, for the price, you just can't beat it. It's solid, and again, get some mag mod gear for it. All right, we'll see you in the next video. Subscribe. That was such a stupid ending.